In Solo Leveling, as Sung Jin-Woo walks towards the corpse of the dragon known as humanity's greatest calamity, Kamish, he raises his hand, activating his ability, saying the singular words, "Wakey, wakey." Shadow aura suddenly starts oozing out of the dragon's corpse, but unfortunately the system informs him that extraction had failed, and he only had 2 attempts remaining. Jin-Woo feared this would happen and closes his eyes, taking a deep breath, speaking the command once more. Erect! Shadow mana fills the air, enveloping the dragon's corpse, as an enormous shadow starts emerging, eyes so terrifying it would make any normal man start shitting in their pants. The newly summoned creature opens its mouth, sending out an excruciating roar, which started destroying even the facility that was meant to contain it. The dragon opens its mouth once more, asking the person standing in front of him if he was the one who summoned him here, referring to him as the king of the dead, the Shadow Monarch. Both the director, David Brennan, and the deputy director are in absolute shock, terrified about what they see before them, asking, "What the hell is that?" The dragon notices the presence of the humans, reminding him of the absolute command he must follow, to kill every last one of them, shattering even the impenetrable glass that was holding him back. Mr. Brennan is shocked, refusing to believe how easy it was for the dragon to break the glass that was reinforced with a top ranker's mana. The glass shatters completely, and with nothing in the way, the dragon starts charging up his breath, shocking the agents of the Bureau, warning the director to evacuate. But since it is Kamish's breath, he responds saying, "Where the hell could they possibly escape to?" "Enough!" Jin-Woo shouted, stopping the dragon in its tracks. He explains that the mana crystal embedded in his head had long been removed, saying that there is no longer reason for him to follow the commands of the rulers anymore. Adam White questions if Jin-Woo was really speaking in the monster's language, making the deputy director say that even though he's standing right there seeing it with his own 2 eyes, he couldn't understand a single word. The dragon asked himself if this was really how it felt to become a subject of the Shadow Monarch, closing his eyes and kneeling before him, saying that as a humble servant who once served the king of the dragons, "I greet you, my new king." Jin-Woo asked him if he really served the king of the dragons. He responds saying he indeed served the one called the king of the mad dragons, the monarch of destruction. Jin-Woo is surprised by the immense rage the dragon was emitting, shocked by the fact a shadow soldier could possess such a strong, independent ego, saying it surpassed any monster he's encountered so far, and that there's no doubt he was an incredible being. Adam is utterly shocked, saying to his superior that it was wagging its tail, making them look completely dumbfounded. Awed by the fact the vicious dragon that was about to destroy them just a few seconds ago was wagging its tail like a good little dog. Hearing the dragon mention that he used to serve the monarch of destruction, that must mean he's also another one of the 9 monarchs the system showed him, including the king of the dead, the Shadow Monarch, and the king of the giants, the monarch of the beginning. Kamish's body suddenly starts disintegrating and informs Jin-Woo that regrettably he must bid him farewell, saying that it appeared their meeting came about too late. Quickly, Jin-Woo starts shouting to the system, questioning if not even the power of the Shadow Monarch could overcome the passing of 8 years' time. As the dragon's body starts dissipating even further, he says how he envied his soldiers who could serve him for all eternity, and warns him that there were 4 humans who had borrowed the power of the rulers, and tells him to be wary of them. "Though our time together was brief, it was an honor to meet you, my king," Kamish stated with his last words, disappearing completely, with the system stating that the extraction had failed. The last remains of the dragon left Jin-Woo's fingers, as the system stated how the target's shadow had returned to the emptiness of the void, and that too much time had passed since the target's death, meaning further extraction would be meaningless. Jin-Woo tells Adam White to tell the director that he's deeply sorry, and that he would cover the expenses for the damages, leaving the scene in disappointment. A loud bang could be heard by both the director and Adam White, since Jin-Woo had destroyed the wall in anger, frustrated by his own incompetence. Back in the hotel provided by the Hunter Bureau, Jin-Chul appears telling Drip-Woo that they couldn't get a hold of him. He responds, saying that he was in a place where no calls could get through temporarily. He asked him if he met up with Jin-Ho there, but Drippy-Woo had no idea what he was talking about. Jin-Chul clarifies that Jin-Ho had left as soon as he received his message saying he was waiting for him at the Hunter Bureau's headquarters. Drippy-Woo is even more confused, asking what he was talking about since that's where he just came from. Adam White comes up to him stating that Jin-Ho's name wasn't in the Bureau's visitors log, making Jin-Chul confused since a hunter from the Scavenger Guild came to pick him up personally 2 hours ago. Adam White responded saying that even though the Scavenger Guild does have a close relationship with the Hunters Bureau, they do not have any authority to do their job in their stead, saying it would just be faster to contact them and ask them directly. Drippy-Woo questioned why he had a bad feeling about this. Laura, the secretary of the Scavenger Guild, is confused, asking Adam White if he was really telling her that someone from their guild escorted the vice leader of the Ah-Jin Guild away, but realizes something crucial, thinking if he had made a move. Laura asked if Drippy-Woo was made aware of this situation. He responds, saying he didn't know yet, but his party asked about him while he was at the Hunter Bureau. Laura responds, saying they would find out as soon as possible, making Adam shout towards Jin-Woo, telling him that the Scavenger Guild said they would look into it, but Drippy-Woo was nowhere in sight. Running on the rooftops of buildings, Drippy-Woo rushes at full speed, saying he was careless. He hadn't placed anyone to guard Jin-Ho after using Shadow Exchange to save his father a while ago, thinking he wouldn't forgive himself if something like the incident from last time were to happen again. "Come out," he commanded, rushing across the city as quickly as possible, summoning hundreds of shadow soldiers, ordering them to find him at all cost. Back in the Scavenger Guild's headquarters, bodies lay on the floor as Thomas Andre, the national-level hunter, and his men arrive at the scene, taking off his sunglasses, saying, "He's really done it now." Crushing the glasses to pieces, telling his men to find Hwang Dong-soo before Sung Jin-Woo does, saying they must find him first, no matter what. At the top of a building, Rizzy-Woo stands there looking menacingly while simultaneously sharing the senses of multiple shadow soldiers in order to find Jin-Ho's location. He questions whether he had left the city, but is confused since normal people wouldn't be able to take him down or kidnap him even in significant numbers since he's a D-rank hunter after all, and if a car that's supposed to be headed for the Hunter Bureau's headquarters suddenly tried to leave the city, Jin-Ho would have definitely noticed something was wrong and resist. The only clue the culprits left is that they were with the Scavenger Guild, making Drip-Woo finally realize that Hwang Dong-sook's younger brother, Hwang Dong-soo, must have been waiting for them to arrive in America for a while in order to find out the truth about his brother's death. Since Drippy-Woo and Jin-Ho were the sole survivors of the dungeon, where his older brother Hwang Dong-sook had died, so he must be certain they were the ones who had killed him. Drippy-Woo flashes back to the time Jin-Chul warned him something like this could happen, saying that even though he doesn't regret what he did back then, this situation would have never happened had he left a guard with him back there, thinking that if anything were to happen to Jin-Ho. The panel switches over to Thomas Andre, asking his subordinate if there was still no news of Hwang Dong-soo's location. "No, sir," he responded, making Andre question if he really wasn't afraid to die, saying that since he's an S rank, he should be very well aware of the difference in strength between Drippy-Woo and himself, meaning that despite knowing how stupid his actions are, he knows he'd step up on his behalf if a problem were to arise. "Perhaps I've been too kind to my hunters," he thought while calling Secretary Laura, asking how the situation was looking. She responded saying that with the help of the Hunter Bureau, they analyzed Hwang Dong-soo's movement patterns over the last month, and there were 3 instances where he left his usual pattern. Thomas Andre ordered her to send all their hunters to those locations, and that he would be there soon, and asked how she managed to convince the Hunter Bureau to cooperate with them. She responded saying she told them that if they didn't find Hwang Dong-soo soon enough, the deputy director is shocked, asking if it really was all 100 of them. Adam White responds saying that all their scheduled raids had just been canceled, and that they were all moving as they speak. The deputy director thought that if all members of the Scavenger Guild were on the move, then it meant Thomas Andre was behind it, meaning the situation is big, and asked himself what the hell was going on. At an abandoned factory in the middle of nowhere, an unnamed hunter asked if he was sure doing this was really okay. Hwang Dong-soo responded saying he's not planning to do anything to him, since there's just one thing he wants to know. He thought that even though his daddy Thomas warned him not to touch Sung Jin-Woo, he never planned on messing with him in the first place, since there's one more person who can provide him the answers he seeks. If he just tells him honestly about what exactly happened to his brother in the dungeon, he would just let him go without a scratch, saying that there's just one answer he wanted to hear, and that is that Sung Jin-Woo had killed his brother, and as soon as he hears that, he's done with Yoo Jin-ho. Dong-soo slaps him on the face, telling him to wake up, and then punches him hard on the chest, making Jin-ho spew blood, shouting at him to wake up once more. The guy in the back starts yapping, saying he was pretty durable since any normal human would have been dead by now, but Dong-soo just frustratedly questions why he was being so stubborn, calling him a naive-looking MF. He suddenly slams Jin-ho's head on the wall, telling him to listen up since he didn't want to kill him. He explained that the guy in the back was a pretty decent healer, meaning he was going to save him every time it seemed like he was on the brink of death, meaning that until he told him what he wanted to know, he would be tortured here forever, and since they're currently in an abandoned factory that's been closed for 5 years, there would be nobody here to save him, no matter how loud he screamed. Off, Jin-ho spoke softly, making Hwang Dong-soo question what he wanted to say, and as he tried to speak again, he said, "Fuck off. Hit that follow thing."